A growing body of research is revealing a troubling pattern among college students, those who rely heavily on ultra-processed foods, fast food combos, vending machine snacks, grab-and-go sandwiches, sweetened coffees, and late-night delivery meals show significant impairments in satiety control. In other words, they have a harder time feeling full, staying full, and accurately interpreting their own appetite signals. And the newest study suggests the issue is not only metabolic but environmental. College campuses, with their food courts, meal plans, and constant exposure to cheap convenience foods, may be actively shaping patterns of overeating in ways that set young adults up for long-term difficulty. The warning is serious because satiety is not just a feeling, it's a finely tuned physiological process. Hormones like CCK, GLP-1, leptin, and PYY help regulate how much we eat and how satisfied we feel after meals. But when diets are dominated by ultra-processed foods, high in refined carbohydrates, engineered fats, industrial additives, and aggressive flavoring, these signaling pathways begin to falter. The body expects nutrient density, fiber, and complex textures to guide digestion. Instead, it receives calorie-dense, low-fiber meals that pass through the system too quickly and fail to trigger normal satiety cues. Over time, this can make overeating feel almost automatic. For college students, this problem is amplified by the environment they live in. Many campuses function like 24-hour ultra-processed food hubs. Dining halls often emphasize convenience over nutrient quality. Late-night options typically center on fries, pizza, sugary beverages, and energy drinks. Vending machines are everywhere, providing instant access to snacks engineered to override fullness signals. Even academic buildings, libraries, and student lounges subtly encourage continuous eating by stocking UPF-rich items designed to be eaten on the go. The very landscape of student life is saturated with cues that stimulate eating whether students are hungry or not. This constant exposure wears down the brain's ability to regulate appetite. Students may wake up barely hungry, graze through the day, and suddenly experience intense rebound hunger late at night, a pattern directly tied to disrupted satiety hormones. Meal timing becomes chaotic, portion sizes creep upward, and students lose the sense of what a normal meal should feel like. Worse, many begin associating studying, stress, fatigue, and socializing with ultra-processed snacks, forming psychological attachments that deepen the cycle of overeating. It's not just biology being affected, it's habit formation, reward conditioning, and emotional coping. The study also highlights something more alarming. Students consuming high UPF diets were more likely to eat past the point of fullness without realizing it. Their internal cues were dulled, as if the body had stopped sending detailed feedback. This makes intuitive sense. Ultra-processed foods are designed to be easy. Easy to chew, easy to swallow, easy to digest, and dangerously easy to overconsume. Their textures require minimal effort. Their flavors deliver fast dopamine hits, and their calorie density is often masked by ultra-soft processing or high water content in sugary drinks. These foods bypass the natural friction points that help slow eating and signal satiety. Campus culture worsens the problem. Busy schedules, academic pressure, and social expectations all push students toward convenience over intention. When you're sprinting between classes or pulling an all-nighter, a microwaved burrito or a boxed mac and cheese packet becomes the default choice. Students rarely get the time to sit, eat mindfully, and allow their satiety cues to surface. Instead, eating becomes rushed, distracted, and largely unconscious. That style of eating pairs disastrously with UPFs, which require very little sensory engagement and therefore trigger even weaker satiation. The long-term risk is that these habits don't simply disappear after graduation. Eating patterns formed during the college years, especially those tied to stress, sleep debt, or convenience, can calcify into adult routines. Impaired satiety control during these formative years may set the stage for weight cycling, unstable energy levels, and a lifelong struggle with appetite regulation. Young adults may leave school with degrees, but also with metabolic patterns that work against their health for years to come. What's most unsettling is how silently this happens. Students often don't realize their satiety cues are weakening until they struggle with chronic hunger, overeating, or sudden weight changes. The campus food environment creates conditions that normalize mindless eating and ultra-processed intake, making it difficult for students to understand the source of the problem. And because the food choices are embedded in campus life, meal plans, late-night study culture, club events, social gatherings, they're often perceived as unavoidable. The bigger message is clear. High UPF diets aren't just unhealthy. They're actively working against young adults' biological ability to regulate food intake. College campuses, by relying heavily on ultra-processed food systems, may be unintentionally training students into patterns of overeating and metabolic dysregulation. This isn't simply about willpower or personal responsibility. It's about environments designed in ways that undermine the body's natural appetite controls, leaving students nutritionally confused, hormonally imbalanced, and prone to long-term eating difficulties. This study should be a wake-up call. If universities continue to center their food systems around ultra-processed choices, they risk shaping an entire generation of young adults whose bodies can no longer reliably tell them when they're hungry or full. And regaining that biological clarity is far harder than losing it.